Abortion and euthanasia are the two extremes of the same rational illusion that sees life at the peak of all the values that can be experienced by human being during its existence. A society that places the duration of temporal extension as a prime value will understandably deny an idea or reasoning that will imply due attention to the way we live and to the amount of suffering manageable and bearable by the human being. Keeping in mind that society is a living organism, at the same time pulsating and protectable for its sentient beings, it is also legitimate to address these very delicate subjects for the good of our civil coexistence. Abortion is often seen as a denial of the fetus right to life. This distortion of the legitimacy of living is due precisely to the idea that living is almost a state of election imposed on that part of universal matter that has not had the same privilege. In doing so, what distinguishes the visceral side of the maternal organism from the miracle of conception is enhanced and protected regardless of the birth of self-consciousness which will welcome the unborn child into the world of living. The birth of a new form of life is not a blessing or a gift, but a test for the mother, for society, for the same child who will find himself loaded with a burden that, without any sustainable conditions for his correct psychophysical development, will be a curse and a disturbing element for his neighbors. More attention needs to be paid to the sustainability of procreation, especially in such as vulnerable and unbalanced animal species as humans. I hope that in the future we will consider options more oriented to the happiness of the unborn child rather than to the sinister moralism of bigots linked to a blind impulse to life for life, free from any responsibility or duty towards the community. If a fetus is more likely to develop in an environment of rejection, overpopulation, poverty, dependency to crime, and non-compliance with the laws of stability and social harmony, then it is legitimate that the government, and in its absence the mother herself, wishes not to feed the flame of hatred and degeneration in the world. Abortion is not murder, but the protection of happiness and of the right to well-being of future generations. The same way, anti-abortionists often find themselves in agreement in delegitimizing the human right to euthanasia, and as an inviolable freedom to extinguish pain and an unquenchable existential unease. The disgust that often takes us when we think about suicide is linked not to the apparent moral disapproval that the unmentionable act stirs inside us, but to the survival instinct that pushes us to flee an idea of eternal end. Since we are afraid, we want to erase from the world everything that appears different or threatening to our state of apparent immortality. Once again, there is an intellectual laziness that makes us be selfish and cling to a false rock of salvation in the midst of the billows of existential contradictions. Euthanasia is the right to happiness, to freedom, and to a dignified life. Social taboos, mass hysteria, and religious superstitions cannot oppose an act of just social mercy towards a citizen without hope of recovery or without desire to continue his adventure of pain on this planet. Remember that, once again, that human life makes no sense if it is condemned to unhappiness or to a mere biological survival. Nobody imposed life on us. Nobody imposed life on us. And in the same way, we must not impose it on others just because we are too attached to ours. In this sense, abortion and euthanasia are on the same level. If we were all less cowardly and a little more merciful to the universe around us, we would certainly realize that the how you live is disproportionately more important than the how much you live. Thank you for your attention.